Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. All right. So, hey, everyone. If you can, turn on your cameras. You see here. Hey, David, pan the camera. Let's let the good people see. I got a big old screen over here. I'm looking at all of your faces, and I actually really do want to see you. Hold on. I'm gonna scan through these because I want to look at all these faces I don't recognize. I see you, Lynette, waving at me. I see you there. Oh, wow, there we go. There's a lot more cameras turning on. I want to see you. I understand if you're like doing something in the background, you can, turn the camera off. But like, I want to see you when you're here. I'm going to go through and cycle through. Feel free to use the chat if you're, I really want you to feel comfortable engaging in there. All right. I do have it up. I won't be reading it, so I won't necessarily see it, but I will glance over it. I am going to occasionally ask you to do something like, hey, do you identify with this? Give me a 1 in the chat. So let's practice that real quick. Just everybody give me a 1 in the chat and just nuke the chat real quick. Look at that. Now, I am fighting off some sort of bleh inside, so I may occasionally need to blow my nose or cough or something. I will do my best to mute the mic as I do that. It do be that time of year when we all are fighting off something. Quick note, I am holding nothing back from you tonight, and I am going all out. I've got you for an hour and a half, and in my mind, that means I've got you for 2. And so I'm going to do my best to end at an hour and a half, but if I need to go to 2 to tell you everything I need to tell to you, I will. So you're at your own home. You can go to the bathroom, turn the camera off if you're going to the bathroom. I'm not taking breaks unless I need to go to the bathroom. We are just going to get to it because I have a lot to cover. Now, if you have not yet, well, that's mine. If you have not gotten the workbook, I worked hard on this. I wanted to get this to you, all right? So this workbook right here, go print it out. This was made just for you. If you've already printed it, excellent. Those of you that got your workbooks, let me see you on camera. Hold your workbooks up to your camera. Let me see. There we go. We got workbooks. Oh, hey, Kevin, I see you bound yours. Excellent. All right, we got workbooks. Follow along as you go. If you get lost in the workbook, it was intentional that I did not tell you the answers in the workbook because you're supposed to get them because I'm going to tell you the answers. And if you don't get the answers, don't worry. What I want you to do is ask in the chat, all right? Just ask in the chat. Like, oh, I don't know what to type, say for this part. So we're just going to go ahead and jump to it. Now, I need to address something right off the bat. I am going to do things where I write by hand. I'm going to have notepads or whiteboards. I'm going to have a big paper up here on another night. And so just right off the bat, I went to school in Arkansas. So that's where I learned to spell. So some of you might have one of the limited edition ones with a misspelling of my own name. So some of you might have that one. I did catch it and fix it, but it took me a second. So I'm good at losing weight. I'm not great at spelling. So anyway, without that, let's jump right to it. Why is the way? Night 1. Let me tell you a little bit about me because many of you here, this is the first time you've been exposed to this guy, Chris, who he is. So first thing, I used to weigh 290 pounds. And I hit my goal weight over 3 years ago. This year will make 4 years of hitting my goal weight and going from 290 pounds all the way down to 165 pounds. Took me 26 months to do that. But that is not the part that's actually the most important for you to listen to because you can go on the internet and find tons of stories of people that have lost as much weight as me, if not more. But what you'll often find, if you let those people keep talking and you let their lifespan go a little wider, what is the typical thing that happens? They gain it all back, right? How many of you, give me a 1 in the chat, you've lost a whole bunch of weight and you've gained it back? Who are my people? You've lost a lot of weight and gained it all back. Look at you. There you are. See ya? I see you there. Lots of ones, right? I'm not looking to help you have another one of those stories. Do you want to have another one of those stories? Seriously, do you want to have another one of those stories where you lose it all and gain it back? No, you don't. I know you don't. And so this is why it's important to show this next slide. I have been keeping my weight off. I am not here to help you lose your weight and then maybe gain it back, maybe not. You're on your own. No, I'm here to help you get this result. Lose it and keep it off. And here I am recently. It just turned 2025, so I'll update that one. Okay, now we need to set the tone. We need to talk about a few things here. I want to help you get the most out of your experience. So the first thing is, I know I'm going to be kind of lighthearted and have fun and be joking and stuff, but this is serious business that you're here for. Okay, this is serious business. I'm here to help you actually increase the quality and maybe even the length of your life. The quality and maybe even the length. That's what I'm here to help you do. And I'm giving it everything I got. I'm holding nothing back. I'm doing everything I can to help you get here. Now, I know that tonight you are investing your most precious resource. By the way, these answers are in your workbook, your time. I know some of you paid nothing to come here because this is free. But I want you to pretend like you have written me a $500 check to come here tonight. I, in my head, pretended you have written me a big check to come here tonight. But I know that honestly, your time is the more valuable element. Now, I am not here to teach you how to count calories tonight or tomorrow or the next night. If you're looking for that, this isn't the place. And I'm also not here to teach you any quick fixes because there aren't any. I mean, there's quick fixes, but not that are going to last. So that's not what this is. If you're looking for how to count calories or what good foods there are, what are the bad foods, what's the latest hacks and tricks, you're in the wrong place. You're not going to find any of that here. And you're not going to find that in any of my stuff. I just don't. I tried losing weight that way. How many of you have wasted 20 years looking for a shortcut to weight loss? Give me a one in the chat. Those of you that have spent 20 years or 10 years or whatever hunting for a shortcut only to still not be there. You're blowing me away with the ones here. Okay, so we're here to do this for real. Now, you are not going to leave here tonight, nor even by the end of night 3 with all the answers. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, you got to stay to the end and you'll know all the secrets to losing weight forever. That's not there. Okay, but here's what I can tell you you'll know. You'll leave here knowing what's next. No matter what phase of the journey you're in, you are going to leave here tonight knowing what's next. Because there are many of you in here that are at day 0. Like today might be the very last day of your overweight life, and then you're moving on to your journey tomorrow. Some of you that'll be here. Some of you, you're on negative day 300. You need another 300 days before you're going to be willing to start. But this is part of your journey. I'm telling you, I'm going to even help you know what to do. Those of you that aren't starting tomorrow, I'm helping you. I'm getting feedback. There we go. All right. So the other thing is many of you have already started. You've already lost 5-10 pounds. You know, you got to jump on the new year. You're already losing a few pounds. Excellent. I'm going to help you know what's next. I'm going to help you know what's coming. What do you need to take care of next? Many of you, you're in the middle. You're somewhere in what you're going to learn on night 2 about the marathon in the middle. Some of you are there. I'm going to help you know what's next. Some of you, you're coming in for a landing. You're not quite at goal weight, but you're pretty dang close. I'm going to help you know what's next. But we've also got many of you, you're at maintenance or you're about to hit it. Just so we know who's in the room. Those of you that have lost all your weight. I want to know who's here because I know some of you are here. If you have lost all your weight, give me a 1 in the chat. If you've lost all your weight, give me that 1 in the chat. Look at that, everybody. See, this room even has people that have lost all the weight and they're still here. Do you know why? Do you know why they're still here? It's because they know how important it is to work on what's going on up here. It's that important because this journey doesn't end when you lose all the weight. Run from anybody that's telling you they have all the answers because no one has all the answers, not even me. No one has all the answers. You're the one that's going to have to figure this out. But I'm just going to help you do everything I can to know what's next. I actually have a term for it. I call it the next step mentality. I'm so big on this. Like David, see if you can get this in here. Can you zoom in right there? See if you can get like right there on the arm. I literally tattooed what's next on my inner arm right here so I can read it. Anytime I just look down at my arm, boom, what's next? Because when I adopted the what's next mentality, my life started transforming before my very eyes. Now, here's the thing. That started happening by a choice. And the next phase of your life begins now for some of you. Now, you might call this, a picture like this, a weight loss journey. Here's a guy that went on a weight loss journey. Okay? You know, big. Oh, I like the one in the middle. I was practicing smiling in a mirror. I'm a little bit better at smiling in a mirror now. And then, we got the after photos. This is a weight loss journey. That's what I'm looking at here. But this is not a weight loss journey that you're on. This is actually a mindset journey. You can't become thin with the same thinking you use to become fat. You're going to have to change that. This is a personal growth journey. You will need to change how you live your life because weight loss was a byproduct of changing my life. Weight loss was a byproduct of changing my life. And if you want to lose all the weight and keep it off for good, you're going to change your life. Now, I'm going to explain more about that tomorrow. So make sure to come back tomorrow. We'll explain what that means in detail. Now, some of you, you're going to notice some parallels with what we're talking about over the next 3 days. All right? We're here talking about weight loss. Why? Because it's a really big, difficult thing to go for. Really big and difficult. Some of you, you have literally lived your entire life always needing to deal with it and never have actually dealt with it. Some of you, in your mind, it actually genuinely, legitimately feels impossible. It's not possible. You hope that you're wrong, but you don't think you are. I know that because that's how I used to be. But you're going to need to open your mind to the possibility of your success. But there's something to remember that all of you need to remember. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the parallels. These principles of success could be for anything, whatever goal you're going for. Some of you, these principles, you're going to take and you're going to extract them and you're going to use them because you're dealing with a health thing. Some of them, you've closed out a career and you're like, well, what do I do now? And you're trying to find that next goal, that next big insurmountable goal. I don't know what it is. You'll find a lot of these principles directly translate to other areas of life. But here's something that's important to know. And that is that permanent success demands permanent change. And changing mindsets is really hard. Give me a 1 in the chat if you've already discovered that changing your mindset on purpose is hard. Like not like pretend hard, actually hard. But thankfully, I know the truth. I know a truth about you, all of you. And the truth is that you, yes, actually, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. I know that. So I've seen people on the journey doing hard things. Here's some pictures from people that not too long ago, a little over a year ago, I went and did an event with. Some of these people are but half the person they were when I did this with them. Now, the reason why I know you can make it is because I know of a roadmap, the first one that we're going to talk about today. And that is called Success Mountain. Success Mountain. This is something that was born out of an observance with myself. I began to observe that there are predictable patterns, like that are happening in my life. And I started to see this. And I was trying to understand what was going on. And over time, I began to put together a framework to help me know where I'm at on the journey to success. And I'm going to teach you the framework tonight. And as you're going through it tonight, I want you to carry this question. Where are you tonight with your weight loss journey? Where on Success Mountain are you? Now, achievement is a process. And those who succeed repeatedly are not lucky. They have just simply developed a process for repeating results. Now, I want to call everybody's attention to something. I want you to really engage with me tonight. If in your workbook, you turn to page 10. We're filling in these answers here as we talk. So achievement is a process. And those who succeed repeatedly are not lucky. They have simply developed a process for repeating, or a strategy, or a process for repeating results. And this process could, in fact, be called a strategy. You see, you don't need a diet. You need a strategy. One moment, please. It's that moment. Thank you for the camera cut, my good sir. There's a trash can right there. So, you don't need a diet. You need a strategy. But the personalized weight loss strategy, custom made for you with your life, hasn't been written yet because you're the person that's supposed to write it. Many of you have been going to all different places trying to find somebody to give you the strategy. Good sir, how did you lose your weight? Can I have your strategy? Madam, you've lost a ton of weight. May I have your strategy, please? And you've gone off and you've tried all sorts of strategies. And many of you have noticed they worked or didn't work. You got all sorts of inconsistent results. And we're going to talk a little bit on night 3 about how to identify the workings and the markings of a good strategy. You do need to know what a good one is, but we're going to cover that on night 3. Now, I have made studying psychology and the process, the science of achievement, a bit of an obsession. A bit of an obsession for me. I just honestly can't get enough of it. I mean, I got all these books that I've been reading and picking at for years. And one of the things I've begun to see is that success is a repeating cycle. It repeats itself. Have any of you noticed that on the other side of a goal is just another goal? Does anybody notice that? It's weird. Like you accomplish a goal and you're like, woohoo, got it. And then what? Right? You accomplish a goal and then what? Then you accomplish that goal. Yay. Then what? And then you accomplish that goal. Woohoo. Then what? Now, I'm not the only one to see this. I'm not the only one to see this. In fact, a famous person, somebody who is a Tony Award-winning Broadway person, who I'm going to tell you his name in a second, started the part of Hermes in Hadestown, I just recently learned, because my son-in-law is gunning for the part. But the peak, he said this, which I love, this quote right here. The peak of one mountain is the base of the next. That's from DeAndre Shields. The peak of one mountain is the base of the next. Now, I'll add, when I heard him say that, he also said in the same time, a little side quote that I loved. He said, slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to go. I really liked that. So, this is exactly how it is. And when we look at Success Mountain, you will begin to notice that the moment you get to a peak, you will begin to realize the truth of it. Now, everybody's journey is going to unfold in different ways. Everybody here. You can take 10 different people, you will get 10 different journeys. That is why no one strategy will work. I could literally hand you, I have it. This is the journal I used on and it has my weight loss strategy for Chris Terrel in here. And if I handed it to you and said, here you go, you can have it, it wouldn't work for you because this was completely custom tailor-made to me, to my lifestyle, to my preferences, to my desired ways of doing things. You need to write your own. And there is not a magical order to learn things. Some of you are in here like, all right, if I can just learn the right things in the right order, then I'll be successful. And the problem is the order in which I learned things isn't the order in which you need to learn things. We have different gaps in our knowledge. And so the reality is you need to find and reveal your own path. Your own path to success. You are the one that has to find it. Now, picture me this. You were to walk up to a mountain and look up at this mountain. And then as you're looking at it, sizing it up, trying to decide what you can do, somebody walks up to you and says, what you doing? You're like, I'm trying to plan every step to the top while standing here at the bottom. Really? Every single step? Yep, every single one. Well, how you doing that? Half of it's covered in trees. That's why I haven't started walking up it yet, because I can't plan them bits. You see, the reality is Many of you want to. You feel it. You feel this internal urge to plan everything before you get started. That's not how success works. You cannot plan every step to the top. And many people try to do this with weight loss. And of course, it doesn't work. So now picture me this. You've hiked to the top of the mountain. And you're standing there looking backwards down at it. You could be like, I did indeed plan every step from the bottom all the way to the top. I planned every step. Now, did I plan them all ahead of time? No. I planned them as I went. Now, of course, as I did that, sometimes I went down a wrong path. I went the wrong way. And then I ended up needing to double back. But you know what? Sometimes I found a really lovely vista while I was over there. Totally worth the detour to find it. Now, does it mean when I'm sitting there at the top, I took the most efficient route to get there? Well, no. No, it doesn't mean that at all. I guarantee you there are going to be double backs. You're going to take the wrong turn. You're going to see something that you just want to go look at, right? It's not even on there. You're just like, well, I'm here. I didn't know I was going to want to see that, but since I'm here, I want to go see it. Now, here's another fun thing that people like to do with weight loss. They'll stand at the top. Now, not with weight loss, but with success. They'll stand at the top of success and they'll look backwards and they'll go, now I know I made it to the top, but old you, look at you, you bonehead. You went the wrong way over there. You're not very smart. You should have went this way. How come you didn't know better? We'll sit there and we'll turn around and we'll be really critical of ourselves in the past. And like really judge ourselves very harshly. That doesn't really work well when we do that. Because you have to remember, when you're climbing a mountain for the first time, you're doing it for the first time. You don't know any better. There's so much you don't even know. Now, let's go to the whiteboard. We're going to get our person here. We go all the way to the bottom. Now, we are all, as humans, motivated by the same things. We are all motivated by pain. Oh, thank you, David. Appreciate that. We are all motivated by pain right here. We got our pain bubble. And we're all motivated by pleasure. All of us. It's fundamental. It's human that we're wired that way to do that. So, one second. I got to get my whiteboard rearranged here. There we go. Thank you. All right. But here's the other part. We all want to avoid pain more than we want to experience pleasure. We all want to run away from pain, and we all want to run towards pleasure. I don't feel like I'm breaking any new ground here. I feel like pretty much we all know this, right? But sometimes we forget this very fundamental, basic truth. And then at the very top of Success Mountain, we have this weird looking goal Y virus looking thing. I'm going to explain more what this is later. But essentially what you put at the top of the mountain is your goal. What do I want? What do you want? What do you want to have? How do you want to live your life? You put it here. And then you have to enshroud your goal in a bunch of whys. It's not enough to know what you want. You need to know why you want it. Weight loss is hard. It's really, really hard to do. And so you have to have a compelling future so that you'll go through the trouble of getting here. The goal and the whys are what create that compelling future. Without them, you won't make it. Give me a 1 in the chat. You've wanted to lose weight, but that was never enough to get you started by itself. Give me a 1 in the chat if you felt that, right? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. You have to have other reasons. Now, wanting to lose weight might be enough to get you to lose 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds. But it's unlikely to get you all the way to the end. So let's come back down here to the bottom. We also need to have some sort of hell that will result from not changing. You see, it's not enough to know what I want at the top of Success Mountain. You need to know what's up there. You do. But that's not enough. It's not enough at all. You need to know what's going to happen if you don't change. What pain in your life are you experiencing that you don't want anymore? What pain will come into your life if you don't change? You need to know what that is. You need to also become comfortable with moving forward without a detailed plan. If you haven't noticed, I keep kind of taking pot shots at the perfectionistic way of looking at things. If you need a detailed plan to move forward, you're screwed. You're screwed because you're never going to have a detailed plan that's accurate. Because you're not supposed to know how it will play out. All you're supposed to know is the goal. You're just not meant to know it. The future is not meant to be known. I can't stress that enough. The future is not meant to be known by you. You're just supposed to have a goal and an intention for what you want. So now, coming back to our person here, our person begins somewhere over here and begins to make our way to the base of the mountain. Now, I said some of you, you're at day 0 or day negative 100. This is you making your approach to the weight loss mountain. The mountain of weight loss. You're ready to summit it. And it takes a long time sometimes for some of us just to get there because we're well aware of how difficult it is to make it to the top. Some of you, you're right there at the bottom. You're already ready. You're like, all right, tomorrow's the day. I'm psyching myself up. I came to this why is the way thing with this Terrel guy, and I'm getting started. Okay? That's going to be the case. But what's going to happen is as you make your way to this, remember, you don't know what it is you don't know. So many of you will go right up this. You'll lose 5, 10, 20 pounds and you're going to crash and come all the way down. Give me a 1 in the chat. Who here has had a false start, right? You lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and gained it all back. Let me see that if that's in your past. There we go. We got lots of people you can identify. Look at those ones whipping by. All right? So you totally get it. Y'all get it. Then what happens? Okay. So now you go up again. Yes, 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 yes. You fall down again. All right. Let's do this again. Yes, yes, yes. I caught myself. How many of you have had that happen? You lose 10, 15 pounds. You stumble, something catches you off guard. But you only gain back about 5 pounds. You didn't gain it all back. You only gained some of it back because you caught yourself. That's progress, right? That's progress because I was way over here. Now I'm like, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up, I'm going up. You are going to experience growth as you ascend. And the difficulty shows you how to grow and expand because it shows you your shortcomings. Let me tell you something. The weight loss journey is going to bring you face to face with your own shortcomings far more often than some of you wish. Because the thing standing between you, the person standing between you and the weight loss success that you've always desired, and quite honestly, just about any success that you desire, is you. It's you. You might think, oh, it's my genetics. It's not. You just haven't figured out how to overcome them. Oh, it's my husband. It's my wife. They're always putting my temptation. No, you haven't figured out how to lose weight and have that be reality. Oh, no, it's my kids. They're traveling. We always got to go to weekend soccer. No, you haven't figured out how to get around it yet. Every obstacle is the obstacle meant for you to figure out how to deal with. And it's the struggle that's going to reveal to you the obstacles. And many of you, the reason why you have failed in the past is because you've done everything possible to avoid any signs of difficulty. And anytime it got hard and you realized you were the problem, you just ran away rather than owning up to the fact that it's time to get more skills. Many people are wishing they had less problems, wishing for better circumstances. Then I could be successful. No. Don't, as one of my favorite mentors I learned through books and movies, or books and videos, is Jim Rohn. And he said, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for different circumstances, wish that you were better. Because you can actually do something about that. And as you're going up Success Mountain, you will find and come face to face with your various shortcomings. And all of you have your own special collection of shortcomings. I have my own special collection of shortcomings. And as I get rid of those ones, I look underneath them like, damn it, there's another set. And I remove those away. And it's like, damn it, there's another set. And I remove those away. And it's like, damn it, there's another set of shortcomings. There's always another shortcoming that you've got to deal with. How many of you are looking for the stage of, you don't need to put in the chat, I just want you to ask yourself, you're looking for the stage of done. I'm just done. I don't need to get better. I'm perfect. Just done. Look, if you don't look back at yourself every year or two and be like, oh, I can't believe I was doing that. Oh gosh, you've stagnated. You've stagnated. You gotta change. You should regularly be growing and evolving and looking past yourself. And some of y'all, I see you. I know I talked to some of y'all in here. You in your 60s, you in your 70s, you in your 80s, and you're acting like you're damn near dead and in the grave. You got a lot of life left to live, and you can listen to a young buck sit here and say it, and I hope some young buck comes and says it to me. You can act like you're in the grave when you're in the damn grave. Wait till then. Until then, live life. Go expand. Go do something new. I'm 75 years old. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Bullshit. Bullshit. You can go learn new things. Well, I haven't lost the weight before. So there's always got to be a first time. And so you're going up the Success Mountain. You're feeling all the hopelessness. You don't think you can make it. Hold on. Got to get my selector tool. I messed it up. Now I'm going to mess. Yep. See, went and got the line. Got to draw it, put it back. There we go. Okay. You're going up Success Mountain. You're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing. You're feeling the pain. You're changing your shortcomings. You're finding out how to overcome it. You're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing. And yes, I made it. Finally, I got to the dang top of that. I mean, it's only 20 pounds. I mean, that first 20 pounds was really hard. How much do you need to lose total? Don't ask me that. I want to talk about that. But now, see, it is vitally important to get to the top, to become singularly focused on the closest peak. The closest peak. Because what happens is some of us, we stay sighted in on the big weight loss number. I want to lose 150 pounds. I want to lose 100 pounds. We stay so sighted in on that. But look, whether you got to lose 70 pounds, 100 pounds, 150 pounds, or 10 pounds, you still got to lose the next 1 pound. That's it. You got to go lose the next one. And then when you lose that, you know what you got to do? You go lose the next one. And then when that one's over, you know what you do? You go lose the next one. And you just keep doing that. You got to take the weight loss journey and break it down into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller chunks. Now, some of you have this burning desire to know, how long is the journey going to take? All right, let's go back to the serious mic. However long you think this journey is going to take, it is going to take considerably longer. So much longer that if you had known, you probably wouldn't start. Okay? So here's your mantra that you say to yourself. It takes as long as it takes. It takes as long as it takes. Give me a 1 in the chat if you have experienced that reality check. You have already gone well longer than you thought this was going to go. See? This is normal. It takes as long as it takes. So we made our way to the top of our first peak of Success Mountain. And you know what tends to happen here? A person begins to decline. You see, sometimes it took everything you had to lose those 20 pounds. It took everything you had to get it off. And then life got harder, right? You were at maximum capacity, mental capacity to get this done. And then your mom got sick. And now all of a sudden, You have to somehow carve that bandwidth back to deal with this. And so your weight loss journey becomes a little more difficult to stick with. And you begin to notice yourself slipping. You're slipping. You're slipping. You're making your way down and down and down and down. And the challenge is when you're here, you've lost sight. You can't see it, the bigger goal. It's hidden. All you can see is I used to be here and now I'm here. I'm not doing as good as I was. How many of you, give me a 2 in the chat. I'm going to catch you off guard. Give me a 2 in the chat if you have felt the discouraged feelings after a backslide. I've backslid. Right? It's so discouraging. And what do you often say? I just wish I could go back to do what I was doing before. It was all working so great. Everything was just better. It's just better down there. But this is okay. This is actually okay that this is happening because the rest time is important. You can't climb and push indefinitely. You have to occasionally rest. Let your mind, let your life recover, stabilize. You'll notice people when they're training their body, they do the same things. They'll push, then they'll back off, let the adaptations occur, recover, push, back off, let the adaptations occur, recover, push. The problem is many of you in the past, you experienced that dip and you think this means you're on the wrong track. So you give up because you think you've messed up. Remember, you don't even know what it is you don't know. You don't even know better. You don't realize that this is actually a vital part of the journey. A vital part. And to get out of this, you recognize where you're at. Where you're at is the recommit point. You see, you in the bottom of the valley is your recommitment. And this is the place where you have the opportunity to recommit to your goal. Now, this is challenging because you can see in this valley where you once were, and it will be disheartening and discouraging if that's where you're focused. You can't get where you're going walking backwards. You can't drive forward very well if you're just laser focused on the rear view mirror the whole time. You need to actually look forward to see where you're going. And so while you're in the valley, you're unable to see the big goal. Remember, it is so easy. How many of you have felt it? You have felt completely discouraged and like, I don't even think I want to lose weight anymore in that valley. You've felt it. But what you must do is set another goal. And a must be higher than before. Many of you, the reason why you're struggling to get out of the valley is you're trying to get back to where you were. And deep down inside, it's just not very motivating. It's not inspiring. It's not going to draw any greatness out of you to just return to where you were. No, to get out of the valley, you must recommit to a new goal higher than you were before. And then you begin your climb up the mountain, working your way up. One second, I want to make sure I covered everything for you. Now, you'll notice at the top of this next peak, you have more goals surrounded by whys. You see, along this journey, you must regularly be setting new goals. You'll have to set multiples because you're going to achieve your goals far sooner than you realize. And that can be very discouraging, weirdly enough. I want to lose weight. Well, after 20 pounds, technically you did that. I want to wear smaller clothes. Well, you go down one clothing size, you've technically done that. Well, I want to go smaller clothes again. Okay, there you go. New goal. That's what you must do. Now, to get up this mountain, it's going to be essential to reshape your relationship with a specific thing. And that thing is called failure. And there's a framework that I use to help people navigate failure. So 1 second while we get to, here we go. And I call it the success loop. Now, we're not going to have time to go over it in detail. This is something I teach in detail in the guild. But here's what often people do when they're trying to be successful. They're moving towards a goal. That's too thick. They're moving towards a goal, and then they experience some sort of setback, and then they just dip out, right? Here's where the setback occurs, and they just keep going. They don't even try to fix it. But there's a better way to do this. When you're going along, so you've set a goal, and you're moving towards that goal, you're trying your strategy, you're testing it out, and then right here, you experience failure. Now, this failure could be for all sorts of reasons, right? It could just be nothing more than circumstances. You just didn't know any better. Or maybe you just straight up did make a mistake, right? And so you gain weight back, you eat more than you planned, you mess up your calorie tracking, whatever it is. But you make the mistake, and now you've had a reduction in results. Now here is the hard part. You have to look at the failure or do a root cause analysis and ask yourself, why? Why did I fail? What happened? Why did I fail? You look at it and you then come up with the cause of it, and then you revise your strategy. All right? So you give it a revision, and then you go for it again. And if your strategy works, now you continue onward again. Now, that's ideal. What honestly happens is you set off towards your goal, you experience failure, you look at it, you have a bad relationship with failure, so you don't do a really good deep look. You come up with the easiest, quickest, simplest answer you think that will fix it. You go and you try it again, and of course, that didn't work. And so then you go and you're like, well, maybe I'll look a little closer this time. And you look a little closer, and you're still going for the easy one. And of course, that didn't work. And then you're trying to like, well, let me try this other thing. And then you try the other simple thing, and that doesn't work. To finally like, all right, I'm sick and tired of fighting this thing. Let's really sit down and look at this. You look down and you go, oh, okay. There it is. There's the answer. All right, let me try that one. You try it, and then you take off again. But you know what you acquired through all of this? You acquired the most important thing. You acquired wisdom and knowledge, but it was born out of your experiences. Born out of you learning about your unique struggles and challenges. And you designed a custom-made solution, which that means you have the solution, but also you just had practice coming up with a solution to a problem that was sitting in front of you. And every problem you solve just better equips you for solving the next one because you become better at problem solving. It's vital that you become effective at problem solving. Because the reality is when you get to this mountain, you are going to be success looping your entire way up the peaks. You're going to be working the success loop the entire time. And some of you, it's going to look like this. It's just going to be this jumbled mess as you're working your way up. The reality is success is not a straight line. You're going to fail your way forward to success. Now, in your workbook, I want to give you the phases. There are distinct phases. So if you turn to this page right here, you're going to see this little diagram right here. So we're going to go through, we're going to work our way around the top, and I'm going to give you the phases. So starting at the very tippy top of this one right here, you have the approach. This is the approach phase where you're making your way up towards Success Mountain. And again, the approach could be short, long. It really depends on where you're at. Then you have the first climb. That's the next box. The first climb. The first, I see somebody asking here, it's page 11. So the first climb, remember, this is where you're the most green. You're a newbie. You don't even know what it is you don't know. And so you're making all sorts of mistakes just because you just simply don't know any better. And I'm going to give you some tools. We're going to talk about on step 3, how to make your first climb a little easier. It's still going to be hard. I'm not going to ever promise to take the hard away from you. I promise. Like, you need it. I'm not going to take it from you. But we can reduce it a little bit. After the first climb, you have the backslides. You see, the backslides are actually part of the experience. Regression is vital for learning. You need it. And many of you, the reason why you struggle is when you experience a regression, you go, no, this is dumb. I shouldn't have to experience this. And then you quit so that you never have to experience a regression again, making sure that you're right. And you won't. If you don't think you should experience a regression, you won't go after something that would cause you to do it. But in your mind, if you think it's okay to experience regression, then you'll walk your way to it. After that, you have rising to the challenge. Rising to the challenge. Or actually, no, sorry, the peak. I lied. It's the peak. Did I mess this up? Yeah. The peak, then the decline. Oh, I see. Yeah. So you're rising to the... Wow. Sorry, everybody. I've just confused myself really badly right here. So the first climb, then the backslides, and then you reach the peak of the mountain. And then on the peak, that's where you decline. And then you have the recommit point at the bottom of that decline. Then you have the next climb. So the approach, the first climb, the backslide, rising to the challenge, the peak, the decline, the recommit point, the next climb. 8 steps. You are going to go through these again and again and again. Now, tomorrow, we're going to talk about the mental part that goes with this. There's a whole mental journey that you go through on repeat. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Now, as you make your way to the top of the mountain, you are going to change. You will. And you're going to change because this is going to require you to do some really hard things. And you are not going to do these hard things unless you have a particularly good reason to. Think about it. In your life, you don't do things that are hard without a reason. So I have a question. What's your goal? You don't need to answer it in the chat. I just want you to think to it for a second. What is your goal? Now, many of you, I know when you come here, you're going to say your goal is to lose weight. That's my goal. My goal is to lose weight. Okay? If you lose 2 pounds, will you feel like you did it? Will you feel like you were successful? No, you won't. Because that wasn't the goal. The goal was actually to lose all the weight. All the weight. Let's turn that to a box for a second. We want to lose all the weight. So how do we do this? Well, we need an action plan. We have the right action plan, we're going to lose the weight. But the challenge is, in front of our action plan, we have our life situation. That's all the circumstances that are messing with us. You know, our house, our home, our life, our environment, the community that we surround ourselves, all these things, you know, this outside world, it's affecting us. And we all have a life situation. And many of them have problems. And then around that, you have your mindset and your knowledge. That's the things you know, the things you don't know, and the setting of your brain. And then outside of that, you have your personal principles, your philosophies. Now, what a lot of people do is they just, when they're wanting to start their journey, they skip to here, to the action plan. But you don't fully understand the picture of what you're doing, right? We just jump straight to the action plan. All right, I want to lose weight. Give me a plan. Wait, does this plan work with your circumstances? Does this plan work with your mindset? Does this plan jive with your philosophies and principles? What if you take a plan that is completely opposite of those? I don't think you're going to be able to do it for very long because that plan is too different from how you are today. How many of you have tried to become a new person overnight? Not like new intentions. I mean, I went to bed one way, I woke up another. Those don't happen very often. So the best way to get a result, to get change, is not to skip to here, but instead to work from the outside in. You work from the outside in. But we have to know what's in the middle. We actually define the middle first. So let's take a look at that. The real goal that many of you might say is to lose all the weight. Now, I know some of you, by the way, I'm in here. There are those of us that have lived our life somewhere north of obese. There's lots of stages north of obese. There are those of us that have lived a lot of our life above there. And there are those of you that have lived your life below there. Okay? These are two different experiences. Okay? They're different. Now, I'm coming from the north side, southern side of the north side, but the north side. Some of you, you're in the south side. So I just want to be clear. I'm speaking mostly to those on the north side, but this all directly applies. So if I'm using language that's addressing more north side, like lots to lose, just alter that to apply it to you. But I have to make a decision on which way to slant it, and that's the way I'm slanting it. So to those of you, you want to lose all the weight. What you're actually wanting to do is be thin. Now, many of us, when we're obese, we struggle to say that. It's a struggle to say, I want to be thin. I want to be a thin person. I want to be so small that you would use the adjective of thin to describe me. You would not use the adjective of big or husky or fluffy or big boned. You wouldn't use any of those. That's what I want. I don't want to be the big girl. I want to be the big guy. I want to be old Big Joe anymore. I just want to be me. I want to disappear into the sea of other people. That's what I want. But we don't say that. You got to say that. I want to be thin. This was a difference for me. I had never said that before. I'd always said I want to lose weight. It's when I finally said, no, I'm going to become thin. I'm going to become a thin person. I'm going to live like a thin person. I'm going to create a life that's incompatible with being a big person. And it's at any wonder I got different results when I finally got clarity on my goal. So you work from the outside in. Now, I have a critical question for you that I've asked myself many times. How come I don't change? Have any of you ever wondered that? Like, I know what to do, and I know what I shouldn't do, and yet I keep doing what I don't want to do. I keep working against my goals. I want to lose weight. How many of you, give me a 1 in the chat, you have wanted to lose weight with every fiber of your being, and yet you didn't do it? You didn't even try. Like, you gave up after one day, right? It's like wanting it isn't enough. There has to be more. And that's because there are two universal forces that dictate our choices in life. I covered them earlier. So, type them in the chat. What are the two forces that govern what we do? That's what I said. I showed it earlier at the bottom of Success Mountain. Give me in the chat. Pain and pleasure. Pain and pleasure. There it is. Pain and pleasure. Y'all are listening. Excellent. The two forces that guide our life are pain and pleasure. Listen very closely to what I'm about to explain right now. If you can truly lock this in your brain and let your brain click with this, it might change how you act and change the results in your life. Many of you, this cup represents your head, and inside of it is everything you know. I want you just to take that for a second and just dump it out. You can pick it all back up when you're done. I want you just to let me put some stuff in here for a second. You can throw it out after. You don't have to keep it. Something that will stop learning is 2 words. If you keep using these words, it's going to mess you up. And that is, I know. Stop saying that tonight for the next 20 minutes. Don't say, I know that. I want you to see what you don't know. I want you to hear the thing you don't know. I want you to make the connection you've never made. I don't want you to come here to be like, yeah, that confirmed whatever. No, go deeper. Whatever your understanding of what I'm about to go through is, because many of you have different levels of understanding. As soon as I get into it, you're going to realize your level of understanding. Go deeper. And some of you, you confuse I instantly understood you with I knew that already. So make sure you can tell the difference. I'm going to say some stuff. If I do it right, it should make sense. If I do a good job, you should be like, oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah, I knew that. No, there's a difference between I knew that and that made sense. If what I'm about to show you, if you wouldn't write it down on your own, if you couldn't sit and write it down on a piece of paper in your own words by yourself without any prompting, you don't know it. You just understand it. So clear your minds, listen into this. This is a lesson I've explained to people many times. Sometimes I'll explain to a person again and again and again and again and again and again. And then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, I get it now. So you can shorten your learning curve if you will just really give me your focus. So let's dig in. We are all affected, no matter who you are, no matter your age, your gender, your race, anything. If you're a human, you live guided by pain and pleasure. And we all want to avoid pain more than we want to experience pleasure. This is very important to understand. It is so simple, but it's universal. So let's go back to the question. How come I don't change? This question has plagued me for a long time in my past. How come I don't change? Why don't I do any different? Why do I keep doing the same old things? Now, I'm not going to be able to crack open that entire answer today, but we're going to crack open one of the most important parts right now. So back to this. Let's take the pain and pleasure, move them off to the side for a second. So, we have two choices. We could not change, or we could change. Those are our two choices, right? Not changing, same old results, same me. Or changing, new results, new me. But what do you think happens when we put pain and associate it with changing? What do you think happens? Especially when we take pleasure and associate it with not changing. What do you think happens? You stay the same. The reason why you don't change is because you associate more pain with changing than you do with not changing. Many of you will go on the journey, and the moment it gets hard, you'll sit there and reminisce. Oh, I wish I missed the times when I could just eat everything all the time and never have to think about nothing. Can't I just take a break and not worry about food ever? No, because when you don't worry about food ever, you get fat, just like me. You can't. Some of you, food is your alcohol. It's your drug. No, you can't. Not even just this time. No, I don't know who you are. But some of you are like, no, I just don't want to think about it ever. We'll get you there where it becomes automatic and instinctual and habitual, and it's easy to think about yourself and to think about your body and to think about the food. But you've been wired to do something a certain way for a long time. It's going to feel unnatural to you. You need to pay attention. You need to focus on what you're doing. So I have to ask you, are you running away from something? Or are you running towards something? Many of us begin our journey with what I lovingly refer to as an oh shit moment. You know what the oh shit moment is? I've had several. David, you'll get this one. You've been there for this one of these. I think you were there. So my mom and dad had this pool. in their backyard. And I have a big family. And we'd all go there and, lots of nieces and nephews running around. Like one sibling's got 7 kids, right? So, and I got 5 siblings, so lots of kids. Well, when you got a big family, you got a pool and you got a diving board, what is one of the most common things to do? Well, it's diving competition, right? And I'm usually not very good at those, especially smallest splash competitions. Ridiculous. I'm competing against 4-year-olds. But then when it's my turn, the big boys get to show up for what? You know what it is. The biggest splash competition. It's like the only competition I got a shot to win. And I remember I'm standing there on the diving board, ready to do my turn. I took my shirt off. Even with my own family, I would often leave my shirt on, but sometimes I'd take it off, and I had it off this time. And I'm standing there, and my niece Camry, toddler age, walks up to me, look right next to me. Everybody looking at me goes, "Why'd your belly stick out so much?" It's like, oh gosh. I mean, just like, oh. I mean, I can't get mad at her. She's a toddler, but like, everyone's looking at me. I don't. It's just like, oh. I got to do something about that. It's an oh shit moment. Like, oh shit. Sometimes you get on the scale, right? You hadn't gotten on it in a while. And you get on it. You go to the doctor's office and the doctor's like, and you forgot to tell him you don't want to see the number on the scale lest you be triggered. And they said, and you saw 306. Well, you now is triggered. Because you thought you was like 280. You didn't know your number began with a 3. You just saw it began with 3. And now you're mad at the doctor. You need to be mad at yourself. You haven't been looking. And now you just had that harsh dose of reality that you weren't prepared for. Oh, shit. Right? It's the oh, shit moment. A lot of changes begin there, which is just a reality check. Like, hey, you ain't doing as good as you think you are. In fact, you're doing a little worse. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do anything about this. Weight loss is so hard and it sucks. I don't want to do anything about this. Right? All we're thinking is pain. I don't want to be this way. I don't want to diet. I'm stuck between a metaphorical rock and hard place, right? I don't want to stay here, but I don't want to go there. Why? What do I do? You feel hopeless. You feel stuck. It's like, this is dumb. Why can't everybody, how come other people, why do I got to do this? Other people don't have to do this. How come I have to do this? This isn't fair. But the sooner we get to acceptance, we begin to change. Now, the thing that oh shit moment will propel us away. It will cause us to take action. Give me a 1 in the chat if that oh shit moment was enough to get you to give up carbs for 3 months. Even 1 in the chat if somebody's done that. It was enough to be like, that's so bad, I'm just not going to eat bread ever. Because bread's the problem, right? And it's just at a 1 oh shit moment. And of course, give me a 2 in the chat if that didn't work. You didn't lose all the weight. You eventually stopped and you gained all the weight back. Right? Right? I mean, right? So, the oh shit moment will get you off the starting line. It'll get you going. But what you need to do is start running towards something. You have to shift away from running away from being fat and instead running towards your goal. You need to be running towards something. Actually, I should do that in alignment with the slide. You should run towards something. Here, we'll do it that way. Run towards the pleasure, not towards the pain. The pleasure is your why. This is why I say why is the way. Why lights the way for where you need to go. The why tells you where you need to head. Without your why, you don't know where to go. It's the thing that's waiting for you on the other side of the weight loss journey. There's a quote that got me through my journey from day 0, and it's from Nietzsche, and it's, "He who has a strong enough why can endure almost anyhow." And there's something that I know for certain. I know it for certain for every single one of you. And that is that hard times are going to come. The hard times are coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Many of us, we begin our weight loss journey going, as long as everything lines up just right, I'm going to lose all my weight. And then something happens and it messes you up because you don't have a plan for when life gets hard. I've yet to make it a year of my life without something hard being thrown at me. Some years are particularly rude, and they will throw something hard at me, and it will stick with me for like 2 years. Right? Life's tough. You've got to learn how to take care of your body through all of it. If the only time you take care of your body is when life is easy, you're screwed. There's not enough easy times for you to do it. You need more time than that to take care of your body. Now, your why is what's going to get you through those hard times when you want to quit. It's not if. We're going to talk about it tomorrow when we talk about the mental phases of the journey. I expect you to want to quit. I need you to push yourself hard enough that you want to quit at least once. I need you to push yourself to where you want to give up because it's just too hard so that you can feel what that feels like, so that you can learn how to deal with it. In your workbooks, we're going to be digging into this page here. It's page number 16. Right here. All right, go to that page. You see, in the Guild, I teach the core 4 goals, I call them. Many people say I want to lose weight. It's not descriptive enough. I have, for many years, I've had a job that permits me to regularly ask an obese or overweight person, why do you want to lose weight? It's a weird job. Like, not many of you, I imagine, get to ask big people that question. Why do you want to lose weight? Now, over time, I've come to realize that people like to give me the Sunday school answer. Do you know what the Sunday school answer is? Do you know what it is? If you think you know what it is, put it in the chat. What's the Sunday school answer that everybody wants to say? Regardless of age, regardless if you have kids or not, it's the same one. There it is. See, y'all even already know it. You make me proud. To be healthy. So let me ask you, when you're thin, are you going to suddenly stop caring about being healthy? No. Does being thin mean you're healthy? I have met some thin people that are really not healthy. Does being big mean you're unhealthy? Not necessarily. I mean, eventually it could. The reality is, healthy and thin are not inextricably linked. They're actually 2 separate things. Now, they are interdependent. They can help each other. Now, it sounds like a good answer to be healthy, but it isn't a particularly helpful one. Be healthy. It's way too broad. It's too imprecise. It doesn't address the deeper motivations that drive sustained change. You see, even if you lose every single solitary pound, you're still going to want to be healthy. Now, health is a tremendously great goal to have. I want each and every single one of you to have the goal of being healthy. I want you to be healthy. But having that goal doesn't mean you're going to lose weight. Having the goal of healthy doesn't mean you will lose weight. As a coach, I've realized I need to ask precise and helpful questions. If I don't ask a helpful question that is precise, I don't get precise and helpful answers. A helpful question is one that directs the mind towards the solution. That's what we need. We need to get our mind focused on the solution. How many of you have ever found yourself, you're just stuck constantly talking about a problem? You're just always talking about the problem. That's not helpful. We need to focus on the solutions. And what did I say? Oh, I think I may have forgot to drop it earlier. The number 1 step to transformation is awareness. It is awareness. You need to be aware that there's something to actually change. Your oh shit moment, do you know what it is? It's a moment of clarity. It's a moment of awareness. The reason why many of you, I know some of you are here in this room, you don't want your doctor to tell you the number on the scale. It's because you want to shield from your mind awareness to what you actually weigh. Because that awareness is going to trigger something in you. It might trigger pain. Trust me, I have tried to help people lose weight without pain. I have yet to see it work. Not long term. Maybe it does, but I haven't seen it. There has to be some sense of discomfort with what you have. Otherwise, why would you want to change? Thank you, cameraman. Appreciate that. So, I now ask a different question. I now ask everybody, why do you want to be thin, healthy, happy, and in shape? Why do you want to be thin, healthy, happy, and in shape? These are 4 distinct and separate goals. Thin, healthy, happy, in shape. I want you to have all 4 of those. All 4. Now, there are 4 separate goals, but they're deeply interconnected with each other. As you lose weight, your health will likely improve. Maybe not directly, but as you lose weight, it will become easier to move, and movement will impact the healthiness of your body. But also that movement helps impact the being in shape part of your body. As you become more in shape, that influences your body's ability to become healthy, and that influences your body's ability to become thin. As you are happy, you are more willing to do all this shit. Because if you're not happy, I don't know about you, a lot of people, if you're not happy, you're not willing to do things. I want you to learn to be at peace with your life, regardless of what is happening in it. Now, I don't always ask people all 4 goals simultaneously. Sometimes I do. But a lot of times we pick and choose. Which one are we going to deal with? A lot of times, of course, I'm helping people with the first one, become thin. But to do that, I need to help the person in front of me understand to become thin. Stop saying to me, I made the healthy choice. What does that even mean? I made the healthy choice. No, we're talking about being thin. Healthiness doesn't make you thin. Eating healthy doesn't make you thin. Eating healthy makes you healthy. I want you to be healthy, but I'm helping you become thin. Tell me how you're getting thin. That's about calories. That's about protein. That's about movement. That's not about healthy. Healthy's about healthy. We have to help people separate those two because a lot of people link them up. A lot of people will go to Chipotle and load up their bowl with 1,700 calories and eat it and go, it's healthy. It's okay because it's healthy. I'm like, it's 1,700 damn calories. When I was losing weight at one point, that was almost all I ate in a whole day. And you're eating it in a meal, but it's excused because it's healthy. We have to separate those out in your mind. And the other part is exercise. Exercise, camera 1, exercise doesn't help you lose weight. I'm just going to let that hang there for a second. Exercise doesn't help you lose weight. Moving helps you lose weight. Moving is tremendously helpful for losing weight. Exercise helps you become in shape. Exercise helps you become healthy. Exercise helps you become happy. You need exercise. Exercise is super, super important, but it doesn't help you lose weight. And I'll have many people I talk to, and all they want to do is talk about how good they're doing at their weight loss because you're exercising 5 days a week. No, your exercise is making you healthy. Your exercise is helping you become in shape. Your exercise is improving your mental health. Hopefully all these things will help you go do the things required to lose weight, but no. Exercise helps you maintain your weight. It will 100% be the difference between gaining your weight back or maintaining it. Definitely. I need you to develop an exercise habit. You have years to do it, okay? But to lose weight, I need you to develop different kinds of habits that I'm going to teach you about. Now, I know for some of you, your brain's like, no, Chris, it's about exercise. You must not know what you're talking about. You don't have to take my word for it. Give me 3 days and then go test it. Just go test it. You don't have to take my word for anything. I want you just to try it. I do know what I'm talking about here. And I will explain it at other days. And I teach it in the guild and I teach it to my clients where exercise fits in. But some of you, the reason why you've not been successful is because you hyper focus on exercise. failing to recognize, because you just don't know any better, just like I didn't for the majority of my life, failing to recognize that exercise helps weight loss indirectly, not directly. And I want to help you lose. Again, it's going to take time and it's going to be hard, but we don't need to make it take longer than necessary or make it harder than necessary. And attempting to lose weight only through exercise is choosing to lose weight on one of the hardest modes possible. You've got to do so many other things. And it's important to have all 4 goals separated because all 4 goals are going to progress at different rates. There will be periods of time where your fitness is going to be like, whoa, improving. Like, wow, I am getting in shape fast. And your weight loss is like, any day now. I'm really in good shape, but you are, come on. Come on. There's going to be times when you're like, Chris, I'm the happiest I have been in 15 years. That weight loss ain't moved in a month. It went down 1 pound in a month. Like this last 20 pounds, Chris, you weren't kidding. That final bit sucks. I have worked twice as hard for half as much result. It's the pits, but I am happier than I've ever been. And there are going to be periods of time where life comes up and just sucker punches you and lets you see how hard life can get. And your happiness is a little down here. But your weight loss is doing good because you've decided to take your weight loss and make it an and. How can I lose a loved one and lose weight? How can I start a new job and lose weight? How can I get in a new relationship and lose weight? How can I get out of a relationship and lose weight? How can I have a baby and lose weight? Well, maybe after the baby part. Or if you're the husband, how does my wife get pregnant and I don't gain weight? How can I lose weight after baby's gone? How can I have a baby and lose weight? You take and you put lose weight after it. How do I go through this and lose weight? How do I go through that and lose weight? How am I going to experience this and lose weight? And y'all, I am not asking you to do something I haven't done myself. You know what year I had the pleasure of losing my weight in? The absolute joy and pleasure? 2020. 2020 is when I gained my weight or lost my weight. I remember sitting there at my dining room table going, how do I go through a pandemic and lose weight? And I did. I didn't know how when I made it an and. The whole point was to set the intention and say that I can. I can do it. If you don't add the and, you're going to get stuck because life's going to get too hard at some point. And so you have to take your goals and break them down into the 4 categories: thin, healthy, happy, in shape. You need a strategy for all 4 of those. You need models for all 4 of those. We'll talk about models on day 3. You need to have a way to get all 4 of them accomplished. Because while they are 4 distinct and separate goals, they're deeply, deeply linked. And they help each other. They help each other immensely. And for each and every single one of the goals, you are going to need a strong set of whys to go with it. Again, this is why it's called Why is the Way. Without a why, you won't make it. You won't. I've seen hundreds with my own eyes, as I've seen their faces, hundreds start and they tap out somewhere in the marathon in the middle. We'll talk about that tomorrow because they don't have enough whys to get them through it because it's hard. Give me a 2 in the chat. Those of you that know about the marathon in the middle, give me a 2 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about with the hard. Okay, you see that? It's hard. It's difficult. It's challenging to lose the weight because it takes time. So I want to give you a homework assignment, an optional one, to do it tonight if you'd so choose. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's probably my most commonly done assignment because it works. First thing you do is you begin with a question. Why do I want to blank? Put your goal there. Why do I want to be thin? Why do I want to be happy? Why do I want to be in shape? Why do I want to be healthy? If those are too broad, make them more specific. You can do that. You can make them as specific as you want or as vague as you want. You pick the question, but put a goal there, a doing, a something that you can say, I did it. And then you answer it. You'll do this on a piece of paper. You could do it in a journal. I usually do it in a journal. I've given you a form. You can do it there too. But you'll answer it. And then you'll take that answer and you will convert it into a why question. You will say why. So why do I want to lose weight? Because I want to play with my kids. Why do I want to play with my kids? And then you will answer it. Now you'll have your level 2 answer. But you know what you do now? Why? You ask yourself why again. Why do I want to play with my kids? And then you'll come up with your answer. Because I can't play with them right now. Okay, there's your answer. Because I can't play with them right now. You'll look at that and you'll say, why? Why does it bother me that I can't play with them right now? You got to take the answer and convert it into a why question. Design it to get deeper. Why does it bother me that I can't play with my kids now? And then you'll write your answer. Why does it bother me? Because I remember playing with my dad, and I feel like I'm robbing my kids of the memory of playing with me. Okay, there's your answer. Why does that bother me? And then you'll answer it. Now, I generally speaking only have people go 5 layers deep with this. We're ultimately looking for the level 5 answer. Now, as a coach, I'm actually looking for a specific kind of answer. I don't have a specific number. It's 2, 3, 4, 6. Sometimes I got to go 10, 15, 20 layers. Some people, they put a lot of layers between what I'm looking for and where we are. And so we have to just keep digging. But I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for because I need you to go home and coach yourself. And I need you to know where you're trying to get because there is an actual answer. You're looking for an emotion. What I'm doing is when I'm asking the whys, I just keep asking until I finally get to the person saying, I want to feel something. I don't want to feel something, but I'm preferably looking for what they're wanting to feel. Sometimes I make do with an avoidance of a feeling, if that's as far as we can get, but we'll usually go deeper because what do you want to feel in its place? So today I'm leaving you with homework. In your workbook, you have this page right here. This page is a levels of why form that you can use, and it will take you 5 levels deep. Up at the top, you will write, I want, fill in the blank, whatever it needs to be. Now, for some of you, day 0 might be good to write. Why do I want to be thin? Put that. Why do I want to be thin? Now, please don't put the first answer of I want to be healthy. Don't do that. Don't give me this. Don't give yourself the Sunday school answer. You're wasting a perfectly good layer. So just skip that one. Let's assume you'll want to be healthy or do the healthy as a separate one. And I want you to go 5 layers deep on your form. You don't have to share it. I'm not going to ask you to share it with anybody. It's all for you. And I've given you 2 other bonus forms if you'd like to do it with something else as well. But I want you to fill this out tonight. I'm not going to take you guided through it. But what I want you to do, though, is as you're doing this, those of you that are going to choose to, I want you to share your experience in the event Facebook page. You can share the specifics if you want. You can just share the emotions if you want. You can just share whatever you're comfortable sharing. You could even just say, it was a good experience. It was a bad experience. I cried. It didn't feel anything. It was kind of a bleh. Whatever you want to do. There's no right experience to have here. I just want to introduce you to the idea of taking thoughts in your head, pulling them out, and then putting them on a piece of paper, and then looking at them, and then deciding what to do. So let's recap some of the things that we've talked about today. You need goals, but you need whys. Without a why, you're not going to push to the goal through the hard times because the hard times are going to come. Also, we talked about how the journey has recommit points. And the recommit points are just a part of the journey. They're a part of the experience. You're supposed to go through them. We also covered the success loop, talking about the importance of going through failure, looking at that failure, practicing, creating strategies so that over time you develop wisdom and so that you develop knowledge. We also talked about how it is actually important to have the downsides. You can't avoid them. You can't even always predict them. We also talked about how the world is governed by pain and pleasure. We're all trying to avoid pain, and we're all trying to obtain pleasure. And if we associate more pain with changing than we do with staying the same, we're going to stay the same. We have to have pleasures big enough that we'll go through the hassle and the trouble of getting there. Without it, we won't. Looks like I was able to get through everything just about right on time tonight, so we're going to end right on time. Yes. Tomorrow, we pick it up with day 2. Now, day two's a big day. We're going to cover the 5 mental phases of weight loss, and we're going to cover the journey. There's actually distinct stages that you each go through. You've heard me drop a few of the names today, like marathon in the middle, saying that. We're going to dig through all of those tomorrow. We're also going to talk about how to prepare for some unexpected hard times. And for many of you, hey, give me a 1 in the chat if you listen to the podcast, if you're a podcast listener. I'm just curious who my podcast people are. Okay, so let's do something fun. You're going to like this. So we're going to explain something in detail, but let's bring something up, okay? You'll recognize this. By the way, I do this live every week. Like, I record this, so it's not pre-recorded. From the headquarters of the Guild of Champions, this is the Chris Terrel Podcast, and I am your host, Chris Terrel, and welcome to another week of your weight loss quest. How did this last week go for you, champion? What new challenges did you encounter? But more importantly, what failure did you go through, and what lesson did you get from that failure? Come on now. Don't let a perfectly good failure go by without you getting your lesson. That's your reward for your troubles. Now, if you're new here, I've lost 125 pounds myself after an entire adulthood of chronic yo-yo dieting. Up, down, again. Before I finally got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I made some permanent, meaningful, and actual changes to my lifestyle, habits, routines, environment, community, and to my systems of belief. Because it's all of those things that create the results in my life, and if I want to get new results, I got to change those 6 things. And now I'm here each week to help you get the same results in your life. Now, I've started every week with that exact same intro for quite some time. Every word is intentional. And now I hope you can see some of those lessons as we've expanded them out tonight, talking about failure, getting the lesson from your failure through that success loop as you make your climb up to the next peak. It's where all the learning happens. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the 6 things that I mentioned at the beginning of every episode of the podcast. This is the magic. You change these 6 things, you'll get an entirely new result in your life. Have a great day, everybody. It was so good to see you here tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow for night 2. Talk to you later. Bye.